What's going on, everybody? Me and Uncle Logan here are back once again, and we are very excited with tonight's movie that we got to see. Finally, we've been anticipating this movie for quite some time, ever since it was announced. We are talking about the Tom Holland starring film on Apple TV Plus from the Russo Brothers, who we last saw direct Avengers Endgame, and I am talking about the movie Cherry. What'd you think about your Cherry, sport? Did you get it busted during the viewing?
She's my cherry pie.
Cue every bad dad Cherry joke.
I know. I'm going to cue the 80s hair band right into this segment right here. But yeah, I was really excited for this. It premiered on Apple Plus TV Plus, whatever it's called. Got the free trial for a week, so I had to check it out. And I actually had a really great time with this film. 2 hours and 20 minutes. A lot of the critics have been shitting on this movie, but I had a really great time with it. Great, compelling story, great acting, and all across the board, just really great performances. Russo Brothers directing this film. This time they're on the opposite side of the spectrum from the superhero universe over to a crime drama having to do with Tom Holland's character being this young kid in college, meets a girl, falls in love, signs up for the army, goes to war, comes back, and becomes this like huge drug addict, and really sad and depressing. And it has a lot of really great themes and great storytelling in this.
Now, Cherry is based on a book that was written by an actual vet who went by, his nickname was Cherry. I think his name was Nico Walker, and he wrote this book, and it talked about his, actual life and what he went through. So this is basically his story as shown through the eyes of Tom Holland's character, Cherry. And yeah, I really dug this film too. Going in, we had anticipated this one just for a long time, of course, just hearing the Russo brothers with Tom Holland and it being about bank robbing. I really didn't know too much about it. But lately we've been hearing some reviews come out, and like Rotten Tomatoes has like a 40-50%, which I'm baffled by, because there's no way this movie is what I'd rate that low. Maybe I could understand like a 60% or something like that, because it can be divisive maybe, but there's no way it deserved its low ratings. This movie is an epic 5-part film. It's split into different parts of Cherry's life, and I thought Tom Holland just like killed it. He had to show basically every emotion on screen, just involving himself in pretty much everything, starting out in the beginning as a college student, like you mentioned, meeting this girl, Emily, played by Sierra Bravo, who also did a fantastic job. I thought the two of them had great chemistry, were very believable as this young couple, hoping to start a life together. But of course, as me and being adults, stuff happens in life all the time out of the blue, and you have to adjust, and things don't go as planned. And things don't go as planned for Cherry. His girlfriend, basically one day, he says that he tells her that he loves her, and she doesn't know how to process those feelings, just with her upbringing and like her relationship with her father. She never really said I love you before, so she's really conflicted and scared about this. So she kind of panics, and she decides that she wants to go to school in Montreal, and she tells Tom Holland's character Cherry this, and this really breaks his heart, and he doesn't know what to do with his life. He was making plans to be with her for the rest of his life. Then she says that she's leaving, and they're going to basically break up. I mean, how can they stay together that far apart? And one day he goes into an army recruitment center and signs up to join the army.
Yeah, isn't that a recruiter? Isn't that the guy from Ray Donovan?
Pooch Hall, yeah.
Pooch Hall?
Yep.
That's what I thought
Pooch
it was.
Yep.
I just kept thinking, like, Ray, how could you?
Daryl Donovan from Ray Donovan.
I need to catch up on that. But, yeah, essentially Emily breaks his heart. He goes, signs up for the army, goes to Iraq, I believe. He becomes a medic. Sees a bunch of really fucked up things, and they show this. This movie's very graphic, especially during the wartime, and him going into, like, bodies that are all blown up, intestines are sticking out. He has to put them back together, and that can really mess with you. And he's stuck in the army, meets up with a few guys, in the platoon that become his friends, and things don't turn out good for them. So that really fucks him up again, and leaving, going back to his home, having PTSD, trying to live a normal life with Emily just doesn't work out that way, which leads him into the world of drugs and heroin, and robbing banks to get money for drugs. That's the last part of the movie. It's really like heartbreaking to watch.
The character of Cherry definitely goes through some stuff in this movie, starting with the war. We see the visceral, real things that happen in war, lives lost right in front of his eyes. His friend Jimenez in the film, which is played by one of, I guess, Mark Wahlberg's nephew, Jeff
Really?
Wahlberg plays Jimenez. Yeah, his
I,
buddy there in the
I really,
army. So yeah, he basically sees his buddy get blown up, and he has to go and sees his friends all charred up in the Humvee. He sees all this action in the war, and it gives him PTSD. And yeah, he has to return home and try to go back to being normal. Luckily for him, Emily is waiting for him when he gets back home. He's treated to a hero's welcome, but he doesn't really feel like a hero after everything that he's seen. He's really messed up. He's in a bad spot. Luckily for him, Emily is there, which at the beginning, is working out for him. But as time goes on, he has nightmares of the war. He has flashbacks, and he's really messed up. So he has to go and seek help because he's on a downward spiral.
yeah, it just becomes more and more an alcoholic and then drug addict and just spirals down and gets worse and worse throughout the film. And it's really sad to watch this and depressing at the same time. I mean, this movie's a lot like other films, but the way it tackles this drug abuse, it's really heartbreaking to see the relationship, how they have to live off of heroin and drugs and do whatever it takes to get money to buy more drugs, and just they get worse and worse throughout the film. And you're questioning if they're really meant to be together, with their drug abuse, if it's actual love or just this addiction. So it makes you question a lot of things in the film.
Yeah, they definitely feed off each other. Emily gets so sick and tired of seeing him strung out on OxyContin that
Yep.
she's like, if that's how it's gonna be, then I'm gonna go down this hole with you, and I'm gonna be the same. And she finds that it eases her worries. They're always strung out on all sorts of different drugs, mainly heroin. They're always constantly injecting each other. It's, Tom Holland did a fantastic job. He really sinks into the role. Very believable. I've, been around addicts before. I've seen this stuff firsthand with my own eyes, and the way he portrayed it was very believable. I believed everything. Just the little small mannerisms. I mean, for somebody who knows if he's ever done drugs or anything before, but like he really nailed all the little idiosyncrasies of being an addict. And I thought just the both of them played that like perfect.
He's always kind of looked at or typecast as Spider-Man, Peter Parker, but we've seen his acting chops. The last movie he was in was our favorite film of last year, The Devil All the Time. He played a serious dramatic role, and it was amazing. He kicks it up a notch in this film, playing a full-blown drug addict, something I would have never predicted this actor playing at such a young age. And just another prime example of how he's becoming one of my favorite young actors. He can go to a lot of different places as an actor, and this proves it.
The Russo brothers have him go everywhere in this film, like we mentioned, and it's with it being split into 5 parts. We see 5 different periods in his life, and by the end of the film, you're seeing his character so desperate that he resorts to robbing banks. And just the way he did that, I thought was pretty awesome. You can see that he's so desperate. The way he robs the banks, he brings in a dollar bill and writes it, this is a robbery on one side,
Yep.
Put the money on the table, basically. He's pretty nonviolent for the most part. He'll bring a gun in with him, but he never wants to hurt anybody else. He just wants to pay for the addiction, mainly what happens there. And he ends up meeting this guy who's just referred to as Pills and Coke in the film, played by Jack Rayner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Midsummer.
And he has a big part. He plays kind of like a preppy kind of big, drug dealer. Looks like a rich kid. Drives a fancy sports car. Basically Biff from Back to the Future. Yeah.
That's his character that about sums it up, and he just has a lot of drugs and is involved with Cherry throughout the film, and things don't really turn out for him. That's all I'll say.
At the beginning, he just starts out as the guy that Cherry gets all his drugs from, and then he ends up getting involved in one of these robberies to get this money back, and things do not go well. At the start of the robbery, he takes a drug and sort of freaks out during the whole thing. And then we don't know what happens at first. A robbery goes wrong, and we kind of don't see his character for a few minutes, and then it catches up with them, and then we find out, we won't tell you what happens, but it's a crazy part of the story.
Tony Soprano's son. I actually have not seen him in anything. This is the first time I've seen him acting. I haven't seen any of the shows or anything he's been in. But he looks a lot like his dad, and he was good in the small part of the film, playing, Cherry's friend, and they're all getting together.
Yeah, he plays Cousin Joe in this.
Cousin Joe, yeah.
Another guy that obviously Cherry's grown up with, is close with. They do construction work during the film, and yeah, he does a great job in the role. You can see him kind of blossoming in this role, and of course he's going to be in the Many Saints of Newark later, playing Tony Soprano himself. So it was very cool to see him, it's a small part, but still cool to see him, start his career here, and seeing him in such a legitimate movie along with another rising star was very cool to see. He was also in that show that I watched, The Deuce, so I've seen him before. That was my first time seeing him, and yeah, I can't wait to see his career progress. He's taken everything seriously. So yeah, there are a lot of good actors in this, a lot of funny names. If you notice there, on when Pooch Hall's character, the army recruiter there, just on the name tag, it says whomever. And it says that a lot of the times in the film, like when Cherry goes to the doctor, it's Dr. Whomever. And if you notice some of the banks, the funny names of the banks in the film, I wrote down a couple here. Let me see. So one of the banks, the signs behind the teller says Shitty Bank. And then another one is Bank Fucks America. And I think the last bank that he ends up robbing is called Credit None. So there's all these little funny kind of wink wink Easter eggs throughout the film that we see. I was trying to look for maybe something Avengers related with, Tom Holland being reunited with the Russo brothers, but I don't think I caught anything. But I wouldn't be surprised.
I was looking to see if there's like any Easter eggs, Avengers references anywhere. I didn't see anything, but
yeah,
I have to look, search the interwebs. I'm sure somebody found something, but nothing in plain sight.
So yeah, this film is epic in scope. It's about 2 hours and 20 minutes, like you mentioned. And I didn't know. I saw it myself, and I was kind of like, man, do I like it more than everybody else? Am I going to like it more than Uncle Logan? Am I just going crazy here? Did I just like Tom Holland's performance so much that it boosts the film? And the answer is kind of yeah. I mean, Tom Holland's performance is definitely, I'd say, even better than the film works as a whole. Not saying that it's a bad movie. I'm just saying, like, you want to see this film to watch his performance. He's so good in it.
Yeah, I'd have to say it's Oscar worthy. I don't think he got nominated. They're released today, the noms, but it's his best performance today. He really goes to a dark place, and Oscar worthy. That's how good it is.
He definitely should and will, I assume, get some awards, nominations. I don't know if this movie just opening up last Friday qualifies for the Oscars or not. I'm not sure how that works. But yeah, that would be a shame if he didn't at least pick up a nomination for this, because it's a hell of a performance from a young actor who is another English, yet again, another English actor coming over, playing an American role and crushing it. And you're not wishing it was an American actor. You believe every second. So
my English ancestors are way better actors than Americans. It's a proven fact. And obviously it's true with this one being Tom Holland. Easy there, lads.
John Boyega enters the chat. Thanks, mates. I appreciate you guys liking my film. I'm going to make Attack the Block 2.
Let's play FIFA, bruv. Yeah, this movie just blew me away. I really loved it. I didn't see why there was so much hate surrounding this. I love the way it was set up in 5 different chapters, the whole cinematography, the vibe they're going for, the score is really top-notch, really sets the atmosphere, kind of the dark tone they're going for in this film. Really great performances by Tom Holland, Sierra Bravo, playing Emily, a really fucked up relationship, and seeing the downfall of this character, Cherry, being a young kid all the way to the end, being a full-blown drug addict, and life of crime, and you just see the downfall, and Tom Holland kills his performance. Great supporting cast as well. Directors, the Russo brothers doing something completely different and really knocking it out of the park on this one as well. So I loved Cherry a lot from start to finish. I had no complaints. Maybe just a little too long, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Probably could have cut it down to about 2 hours, but that's really the only negative remark I have to say about it.
I shared a lot of your sentiments. I really enjoyed the film. It's not like a very uplifting film, that's for sure. It's kind of a dark kind of film. So don't go in there if you're in a shitty mood already, I'd say.
No.
But just for straight acting, pure drama, the way it's set up into 5 parts. Um, and even there's some redemption at the end. It's not all bad, so it kind of ends on another high note. I wouldn't mind reading this guy's actual book based on the movie. It's a crazy journey this guy was on. It would be interesting to get more details in it. But yeah, just I really enjoyed everything about the movie. I loved how it was split up. Maybe a tad long. I don't think it was a perfect film. I think there was a lot there. Like maybe, I don't know, if it was edited a little differently, cut down, would it been a little better and I would have boosted my rating a little bit? Yeah, probably. But overall, I can't really say anything bad about it. I think I'm going to say I will give Cherry a 3.5 out of 5 hair pieces. What about you?
I'm gonna say Cherry. I'm gonna give it a higher score. I slept on it. I'm still gonna give it a solid 4 out of 5. Tom Holland hair pieces. I still had a great time with it. And this is a movie I'll probably revisit down the road. If you guys out there haven't checked it out yet, it's on the Apple Plus streaming service. You get a free week trial if you guys don't have the service or familiar with it. That's what I did. So check it out. Check out a few other shows, original shows that are on the streaming service as well. Servant, and there's that Jason Sudeikis show as well.
That's right. Ted Lasso. Yeah, out of the streaming services, I'd say Apple TV probably is down towards the bot. Like it's not in my top ones for sure. But with this one, they're gaining respect if they keep getting more good content and good films like this. And I also watch Servant, which I enjoy too. It's a slow burn. M. Night Shyamalan produced, but it's got great performances in it. I've seen a couple other movies. I've seen Greyhound with Tom Hanks on Apple, and I watched Palmer with Justin Timberlake, which wasn't bad. Cool. And Ted Lasso is a really good comedy. It's been getting a lot of awards attention. They're shooting season 2 now, so yeah, check that out. But like he mentioned, if you don't have it, just grab the free trial and check out Cherry. You guys should enjoy it. It's stuck with me. I'm still thinking about it. I'll have to revisit it as well. I hope it's released on a physical disc because I'll definitely pick that up for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a stylistic movie. It looked pretty, even though it was dark as hell. Like just a beautiful movie. They filmed in a lot of the reds they used and stuff. Looked great. And I would really want to check this out in 4K. So hopefully they'll release it. I'll definitely be picking it up.
It's exciting times. We're getting some movies finally released. We had Cherry over this past weekend, and we have the Snyder Cut coming. We have Winter Soldier. A lot of stuff to talk about. So you guys will be seeing more of me and Uncle Logan here doing these awesome reviews for you. Yeah. We'll see. One of these times we're gonna pick a movie where we both have like opposite reactions, so that'll be fun to like trash on. One person will trash on it, and the other really enjoyed it or whatever. So that'll be interesting. I'm glad we both enjoyed this one. I kind of figured that you'd like this one as much as I did. You even rated it higher than me, so that's great. I'm interested to know what everybody out there thinks. You guys should check this out and then let us know what you think. And I'm also interested in what those other fellas boys are going to think once they get around to watching it. Sounds like it's a little low on their radars, but if they watch this review here, hopefully you guys check it out too. I think everybody will enjoy it.
Absolutely. We have our podcast coming up on Sunday, so the rest of the guys and the fellas boys will have time to watch it. We'll talk about it more in depth on the podcast Sunday night. Besides that, we have a fellas giveaway coming up on the 25th. We're giving away Rick and Morty seasons 1 through 4 in digital code. Bob has a new interview with the director coming out this week. I have an unboxing video of the Possessor VHS tape that I won through Retro.
I watched that too. I forgot to tell you.
Possessor, cool. So we'll have to talk about that. We got the Justice League Snyder Cut coming out on Friday on HBO Max, so I'm pretty stoked for that. I got to squeeze in a 4-hour movie this weekend, but the early reactions have been all pretty positive for the most part. Say it's a completely different film, and it's really elevated with this cut of the film. So I'll check it out, and we'll talk about that more on the podcast. Besides that, we have Mighty Ducks coming out this month on Disney Plus, and we also have Falcon Winter Soldier coming out. When is that coming out? Next week?
That comes out on Friday. Yes.
Friday?
Snyder Cut of Justice League comes out on Thursday.
Wow. So we got a lot of great stuff to talk about. Maybe me and you can do another review of something.
For sure, man. I enjoyed this. This is great. So until the next time we watch another Tom Holland film and really praise it.
Woo, Tom!
We love that English rascal.
You can pop my cherry anytime.
Before we get too wild, it's time to say what we always say to you boys and girls out there. Until next time, cheers!